Why did people feel safe to tell Jesus everything? Not just good people, not just believers. I'm talking about prostitutes, tax collectors, adulterers, hypocrites, people who were defensive, ashamed, and hiding from everyone else. Yet, within minutes of meeting him, they were sharing things they'd kept hidden for years. So what did he do that created that kind of safety? I'm going to show you the way Jesus engaged the human heart. I tried this 2,000-year-old secret, and people started opening up more. It still works. By the end of this video, you'll know how to do it too. And no, it's not just be nice or pray more. It's way more specific than that. Most believers think Jesus connected with people in ways we can't replicate. But that's not what the Bible shows. Look at the facts. The woman at the well was avoiding people. She came to draw water at noon when no one was around. Zacchaeus was literally hiding in a tree. Nicodemus only came at night. The adulterous woman was about to be stoned. These weren't people looking for a friendly chat. They were closed off, guarded, protected. Yet within minutes of talking to Jesus, they were confessing their deepest secrets and life struggles. So what did Jesus do that made guarded people drop their walls? It's written right there in the Gospels, but most people read past it. This technique breaks down into 3 practical tools. The first tool is he asked questions instead of giving answers. Jesus constantly asked questions in the Gospels. He rarely gave direct answers. Let that sink in. When the woman at the well met him, he didn't start with, "You're a sinner, and here's why." He said, "Give me a drink." Simple, non-threatening. Then he asked about her husband. When she deflected, "I have no husband," he didn't lecture. He simply stated what he knew. "You've had 5 husbands." No condemnation in the tone, just truth. And that's when she opened up completely. Here's the principle. Questions invite, statements push away. When you ask someone a question, you're saying, "I want to understand you." When you give them an answer they didn't ask for, you're saying, "I already know everything about you." People don't open up to know-it-alls. They open up to people who are curious about their story. I tested this at church. Instead of saying, "You should pray more," I started asking, "What's making it hard for you to pray lately?" The difference was insane. People who usually gave me surface answers started telling me about their actual doubts, their fears, their struggles. Not because I had some special gift, just because I asked instead of answered. Now you might be thinking, okay, just ask questions instead of giving answers. Got it. But there's a second tool Jesus used that's even more powerful, and most people never notice it. The second tool is he named what others wouldn't say. When Jesus saw Nathanael, he said, "Here's a man with no lies in him." Nathanael was shocked. "How do you know me?" When he met Zacchaeus, he didn't say, "Come down from that tree, sinner." He said, "Come down, I'm staying at your house today." With the rich young ruler, he didn't ignore the elephant in the room. He said straight up, "You lack one thing, sell everything." Jesus had this pattern of naming the exact thing the person was avoiding, the thing everyone else tiptoed around. He named hard truths without wounding people, because love, truth, and authority were never separated in him. Here's the principle. Most people live with thoughts and feelings they think are too dark to say out loud. When you name it for them, not in judgment but in recognition, something breaks open. It's like they've been holding their breath waiting for someone to acknowledge what they already know but were too afraid to admit. I started doing this in conversations. When someone kept complaining about their job, I said, "It sounds like you've already decided to quit, but you're scared to admit it." They froze. Then they started crying. Then they said, "I've been trying to say that for 6 months." You're not being harsh, you're being honest. And honesty builds trust faster than niceness ever will. The key is you can't name it with an agenda. You can't say it to manipulate them into doing what you want. You say it because you see them, really see them, and you're brave enough to acknowledge what's actually there. That's what Jesus did. He saw people, not the version they presented, the real them. The third tool is he stayed present instead of moving to solutions. The first two tools were about how to speak and what to say. This third tool is different. This one's about what you do when there's nothing to say. Look at Jesus with Mary and Martha when Lazarus died. Martha came out arguing theology. If you'd been here, my brother wouldn't have died. Jesus didn't defend himself. He didn't explain the plan. He just said, "Your brother will rise again." Simple. Then he stayed with her in the moment. When Mary came out and said the exact same thing, Jesus didn't repeat his answer. He wept. He sat in their pain. John 11:35 is the shortest verse in the Bible, but maybe the most powerful. Jesus wept. Here's the principle. We're obsessed with fixing people. Someone shares a problem and we immediately jump to solutions. That's not listening. That's trying to make ourselves feel useful. Jesus knew something we often overlook. People don't need you to fix them. They need you to be with them while God fixes them. I used to do this thing where someone would tell me they were struggling, and I'd immediately say, "Have you tried reading Psalms? Have you tried fasting?" All that did was make them feel stupid for not thinking of it. Now, when someone shares something heavy, I just say, "That sounds really hard." And I wait. I don't rush to fill the silence. You'd be shocked how much more people say when you just let them breathe. Sometimes they solve their own problem just by talking through it. Other times they just needed someone to acknowledge their pain. Either way, they felt heard. And that's what opens people up. Now, before I show you what happens when these tools work together, you need to understand something crucial about why they work. And here's the key takeaway. Jesus wasn't safe because he mastered communication. He was safe because he was deeply rooted in the Father. He didn't rush people because he wasn't anxious. He didn't control conversations because he trusted God to do the work. These tools don't start with what you say. They start with who you're becoming. These tools only work when they flow from a transformed inner life, not a practiced skill. If you want to be someone people open up to, don't aim to sound like Jesus. Stay close to him, abide in him, because fruit doesn't come from trying harder, it comes from staying connected. That's what Jesus did. He didn't just give people truth, he created space where the Spirit could work. The woman at the well didn't just get information, she got transformation. She went back to her village and brought the whole town to meet Jesus. Zacchaeus didn't just get a dinner invitation, he got his life back. He gave half his possessions to the poor and paid back everyone he'd cheated. The woman caught in adultery didn't just get mercy, she got freedom. Go and sin no more. That's the power of being truly heard. It changes you from the inside out. It worked 2,000 years ago with them. It is working with me. It will work this week with you. Here's your challenge. Pick one of these 3 tools and use it this week. Ask a question instead of giving advice. Name the thing no one is saying. Stay present instead of jumping to solutions. Try just one. See what happens. If you do this and something shifts in your conversations, drop a comment and tell me which tool you used. And if this changed how you think about listening, share it with someone who needs to hear it, because the world has enough people talking. We need more people who know how to listen like Jesus. Hit subscribe if you want more biblical techniques that actually work in real life. I'll see you in the next one.